Hi buddies, I'm Miss Christy. Welcome to my kitchen for another Bud Warner Memorial Library yummy story. Today we're going to enjoy The Great Pancake Escape by Paul Manny, illustrated by Scott Soto, and then we're going to make the fluffiest pancakes. Our dad is a magician who can make a bird go poof, but the day he cooked us pancakes, he made an awful goof. He juggled milk and flour, then made an egg appear, and pulled a stick of butter from behind Louise's ear. We'd seen this act 1,000 times, but we really should have looked, 'cause when he mixed the batter up, he was using the wrong book. The bowl spun round and went kablam! Dad's glasses took off flying. The batter leaped into the pan and hissed while it was frying. The stove belched smoke and fire, the pancakes leaped and hopped. We dove beneath the tabletop and shouted, "Watch out, Pop!" The cakes turned somersaults and flips. We caught them on our dishes, where they squirmed and flopped and wriggled as if they were live fishes. We had no chance to stop them as they leaped upon their edges, skittered quickly out the door, and rolled right past the hedges. We couldn't cry out murder, yelling fire would be rash, so we loudly bellowed, "Pancakes!" then took off at a dash. They shot on down the driveway, where they spun around the cats. Flying through the mailman's legs, they flipped like acrobats. We chased them way on down the block, where they popped into high gear. They screeched around the corner and simply disappeared. "Where did they go?" cried little Ned. Louise had teary eyes. "Now don't be sad," I told them both. "We'll catch those sneaky guys." We left no rock or stone unturned. Where they hid we couldn't dream. It was then we started noticing things weren't what they seemed. The tires on the taxi cab, they didn't look quite real. The driver of that city bus was chomping on the wheel. The traffic signal turned to tan. That's not right, is it? And as we crossed the street, the big round manhole covers felt all squishy to our feet. A highfalutin lady strolled into our view in a funny hat that looked good enough to chew. A frisky beagle in the park ate a frisbee meal. Kids rolled by on bumpy skates, and a cyclist on brown wheels. "There's something fishy going on," I told the other guys. And then I saw a fleeting flash. Our flapjacks flipped on by. We hightailed it quickly after them. As our cakes began to flee, they tore across the meadow, and we ran them up a tree. But then a robin swooped on down and grabbed a batterfly, and all of the rest of them took wing and flew off in the sky. We chased them down a slippery slope through crowds of daffodils and hopped across the murky pond on bouncy pads of lilies. We pooped out at the fountain rim just as some thunder pealed. I said, "There goes our breakfast, now we'll have to eat oatmeal." And then as we set out for home, fat clouds the hue of batter let loose a syrup rainstorm on umbrellas flat as platters. "Please help me find my specs," said Dad, when we stumbled in the door. But we found his old cookbook instead. It had tumbled to the floor. Magic that really cooks. Oh boy, that sounds like a mischievous book. This is a book of tricks, we said. You see, it's not for grub. So we found a backward spell to chant to reverse Dad's breakfast flub. We hollered Udu Ekata. Then we heard a mighty roar. An avalanche of cakes rolled down and blasted through the door. But our backward spell worked all too well, and our flapjacks turned to goo. We licked our hands and fingertips, but Dad said, I'm not through. Uh-oh. I'll fry you up another stack. But we said, no, just watch. Then we toasted frozen waffles right from the soggy box. All right, buddies, wasn't that a fun story? So I've got all of my ingredients for my fluffy pancakes here. But first, let's learn a fun song to help us make our pancakes. So it goes like this. Mix a pancake, stir a pancake, pour it in the pan. Fry the pancake, toss the pancake, catch it if you can. All right, you guys want to try it with me? So mix a pancake, stir a pancake, pour it in the pan. Fry the pancake, toss the pancake, catch it if you can. Should we do it one more time? Mix a pancake, stir the pancake, pour it in a pan. Fry the pancake, toss the pancake, catch it if you can. Awesome. So we're going to mix up our dry ingredients first. So that's going to be our 2 cups of flour. And our 1/4 cup of sugar. And then we need a tablespoon of baking powder. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And once we've got all our dry ingredients in there, we're going to just mix them all together with our whisk. And then we can add our wet ingredients. Our 1 3/4 cups of milk. A 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Smells so yummy. And 1 big egg. Once we've got all our ingredients in the bowl, we'll give it a good mix. Awesome mixing, buddies. Now I've got my skillet out and I've got it all nice and heated up. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to it. And then I'm going to add my batter. 1, 2, and 3. And then I've got another little song for us to learn while our pancakes cook in the griddle. So it goes like this. 3 crispy pancakes in a frying pan. Flip them and toss them, catch them if you can. Along came Brielle for a pancake one day. Mom sprinkled it with syrup and she took it away. 2 crispy pancakes in a frying pan. Flip them and toss them, catch them if you can. Along came Veda for a pancake one day. Mom sprinkled it with syrup and she took it away. 1 crispy pancake in a frying pan. Flip them and toss them, catch them if you can. Along came Odin for a pancake one day. Mom sprinkled it with syrup and he took it away. Yay, buddies. Wasn't that an awesome song? Then I have one more story to share with you as well. It's called Almost Time, and it's by Cory Schmidt and Elizabeth Stickney, and is illustrated by G. Brian Carrot. When Ethan had to eat his pancakes with applesauce instead of maple syrup one Sunday morning, he knew it was almost sugaring time. That's what they call it when they're making maple syrup. Is the sap running yet? He asked. Dad shook his head. Not until the days get warmer. That afternoon, Ethan took his sled to the big hill. It was a sunny day, so he left his hat and his scarf and his mittens at home. That doesn't sound very smart to me. But the day was warm. It looks pretty cold up there. Next Sunday morning, Ethan's dad made a pan of cornbread. Still no syrup. Is it time to tap the trees? Ethan asked. When the nights get shorter, Dad said. At bedtime that night, Ethan thought there might be some daylight still coming through the window. But there wasn't enough to even find Roosevelt. Next Sunday morning, Ethan stirred raisins and walnuts into his bowl of oatmeal. No syrup. When he bit down on a walnut, he discovered something. My tooth is loose, he said. His father inspected. I expect it will fall out before long. How long? Asked Ethan. About as long as it takes the sap to start running, Dad said. Now, Ethan had two things to wait for. Checking that tooth. But the days were still cold, and the nights were still long. And his tooth would not come out. The next Sunday morning, Ethan's dad made eggs and toast. Ethan tried not to think about maple syrup in the afternoons when he slid down the big hill, or when he turned on his lamp at night, or when he wiggled his very, very loose tooth during school, until his dad was waiting when he got off the bus. How's that tooth? He asked. Ethan smiled to show him. So is the sap going to run now? Asked Ethan. His dad smiled to show him. They've got all these buckets. They've tapped into the trees and they're collecting the sap out of all the trees. Every afternoon that week, and all day Saturday, Ethan and Dad hauled buckets of sap from the trees. They're bringing in all the buckets of sap, and they pour them in these big flat pans, and they tend to this fire beneath the pans to keep them cooking for a long time. And the sap boiled and boiled, and it boils down and turns brown. And early on Sunday morning, when there was already a little light in the sky, Ethan poured sweet maple syrup onto his pancakes. Yummy. Buddies, these fluffy pancakes look yummy. Thank you for watching this week's Yummy Story Time from Bud Warner Memorial Library, and I'll see you at the library next time.